Today he's going to be showing you how to go from 0 to 1 million per year. Even if you're brand new or feeling stuck right now, what went into that path, what went into that journey? What are those key things that you have to know, put in place, and focus on? He's going to be talking about how to build a high producing team. So, not just being a top producer yourself, that will only get you so far, but being able to build a high producing team and having them effectively keep on growing so your agency's growing as well. And then he's also going to focus on the mindset of a millionaire agent. What goes into that? Why is that important? How do you continuously develop that as well? And so Dave's going to share the mental breakdowns that took him from 0 to 5 figures, which I know a lot of agents are at and would like to break from there, then to 6 figures, and then finally to 7 figures per year and growing. Let's first talk about that path of 0 to 1 million. That may be too big of a gap to start with. So let's maybe talk about that path from getting started and maybe no sales, just getting rolling, stuck at maybe a couple thousand a month, if even, to breaking that first 5 figure barrier.
You have if you are really rigid in your ways and things throw you off and you can't be flexible with it, like you have to work on changing that trait. For instance, if someone was supposed to call you at 3 o'clock and they called you at 3:05 and it was the end of the world to you and you couldn't bounce back from that, that's going to make it really hard for you to be successful as an entrepreneur, not just insurance, but as an entrepreneur. So the first thing that I think is the most important is just learn to be really, really flexible. The biggest reason I think insurance agents fail is because of their ego. And I'm lucky for myself that I was in my mid-30s and I got beat up through life quite a bit and dealt through a lot of things that I was able to say, listen, I don't know anything. Like, I don't know anything at all. A lot of times people look at ego like it's, oh, I think I'm better than you. But when I think about ego, I think it's, I can't learn anything, or I think I know how things are supposed to be, or I'm not willing to ask for help, or I'm not coachable. Absolutely living the life you want to live, know that your best thinking got you there. So if you want to create a better life for yourself, and that could mean money, that could mean peace, that could mean freedom in time, that could mean driving nicer cars, it could mean whatever it means to you. The biggest thing to cross that $5,000 barrier would be activity. Anytime an agent, they're coming to me and they're not having the results that they want, the first thing I always look at is their activity. Absolutely. Can you send me your activity sheet, please? And typically they won't send it, because if they're getting the activity in that they're supposed to be getting in, they'd be getting the results that they want to get in. And when you change your mindset and realize that, and you're willing to put the activity in that you need to do that, that's when things will really, really start changing for you. So those are three things that I think are really, really important as a foundation for an agent to be successful. You're going to need those things to hit every single level. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's really important on that side. Another thing that I think is really important too is you got to look at this like it's your education. Too many people, they're focused on, right, you want to make $5,000 a month because that we're talking about. Like I'd love to make $5,000 a month when I first started, but are you focusing on making $5,000 a month? Or are you focused on learning the skills needed to make $5,000 a month? When you're first starting out as an agent, you have to get the idea of working as much as you can to reach your goals. The biggest thing in this industry that I want people to realize is that when I first started, I was putting in 60, 80, 90 hours a week. I was doing that. So now here at year 4, I don't have to put in any time at all. I make more in a week than I did my first year, basically, in insurance, with almost no effort. So what you're doing is you're building your foundation to be able to create that kind of income. If you're doing it right and you're in the right system and you have the right mentor and the right coaches, you should make more money, significantly more money every single year in this industry with a lot less effort.
From hearing your own story, those first 6 months weren't exactly easy in the industry. And so what changed at the 6 month mark that was really, I think that you credit a lot to immediately, like, I'm going and I'm taking off here?
I would do some things like I'd write some policies and I'm like, oh, look at that. I already made $1,000 by noon. And then wouldn't work the rest of the day. I wasn't being honest with myself and I wasn't putting in that work. And then I started, when I wasn't having the success, instead of looking at myself of why I wasn't having the success that I wanted, right? I was having some success, just not what I wanted. The year prior, I did very well, not in the insurance industry. So I was comparing that, but I started breaking everything apart. Like I started tearing everything down and trying to find things wrong, right? Instead of walking around trying to find things right all the time, I try to find things wrong. And it's going to take 10 years to go through all these different experiences from all these different seasons till you actually know what you're doing, right? You can't shortcut the experience. Everybody wants to shortcut the experience thinking that there's a way. There's no way. Like you have to go through the experience. I mean, and this is one thing I promise you, that if you go through the experience, if you go through it, I mean, this business will treat you so well. I mean, the things I've been able to accomplish, and not just me, but like the stories I have and the agents we've been able to help. I mean, I have agents that we're hoping to make $30,000 a year that make multiple six figures on the phone from their own house. When you build a seven-figure agency or multi-seven-figure agency, the one thing is you get a huge sample size. And you could start looking at the common traits of a successful agent versus someone that's not successful. And it has nothing to do with anything else but the heart and putting in the work and being coachable. Like it doesn't matter how great you are at talking. It doesn't matter all these other like things that you think would matter.
He's not saying it's going to be easy, that you don't have to work, that you don't have to do the activity. Just that if you follow a system and put it in place and do the work, that it will lead to the results. I think we can all agree with that. There's no shortcut, but there are ways to fast track a little bit, and that is through coaching, mentorship, and guidance. How do you go from doing five figures, like 10,000 a month, to doing 100,000 a month? I know that was a little bit of a journey, a little bit of a shift. I would love if you can dive into that.
You know, have you made six figures before? And, you know, just think about if you were working for a company and they're paying you six figures, what do you think they would expect from you? Right? You probably have to know more than what you know now. You'd probably have to work a lot, right? It's going to be a full-time job. And, you know, when you start looking at those things, because realistically, the biggest thing from someone making $5,000 a week or $5,000 a month to making six figures, it's going to be activity, right? And so many of us, we put up these walls or these barriers or these limitations or these rules. Like, I want to make six figures, but not if I have to work after 5. I want to make six figures, but not if I have to work on Saturdays. I want to work six figures, but I need to go on 2 vacations a year. When you make your priority to become a six-figure industry, then you'll be a six-figure earner, or a six-figure earner in this industry, you'll be a six-figure earner. But if your priority is to go drinking with your friends on the weekends, well, and you're more worried about that than creating a six-figure income, well, then that's what you're going to be doing. But if someone asks me to do something, whether I want to do it or not, if I want to do it, the answer is yes. It's not, oh, let me check with my boss. It's not, I got to work. It's not, I don't have enough money. It's not that I don't have enough free time. It's yes, if I want to do it. If I don't want to do it, it's no. So, and it took me 4 years this is my 4th year in the business. So it took me till now or a little bit sooner to be able to have that freedom. So you have to realize that if you decide to put your head down for that year and learn this business and be a master at this business and learn how to create a six-figure income in this business, like that's just 1 year of sacrifice.
Are you willing to sacrifice your time for future freedom? Are you willing to put in what you need to now so that you have the freedom later? At what point did the team come into play and developing team and leading team? Was that a part of getting to the six figures a month?
You know, while I was running business, I was still hiring and mentoring people. And as soon as my income for my overrides was big enough to cover my bills, that's when I stopped being an employee in my business and started really being a business owner. And that's when I retired my pen, and all my focus now is on mentoring agents at that time, showing agents how to be successful and looking for new agents that want to be successful. So it just really depends on, what you want to accomplish. And then understanding that when you do what I did and you step out of, because in the beginning, your income is going to be made from running business, you're with your own pen. That's where your income is going to be come from. It takes a while for that team income to catch up, but that team income is what will get you to that 7-figure mark, which is that was my goal. My goal wasn't to make 6 figures. It wasn't meant to make 200,000 or 300,000. My goal was to be a multi 7-figure earner. And because of that, all the decisions I've made and everything I did was to set up myself to do that, even if it was going to slow things down in the beginning.
What is that gap? What's that change? What have you found to be the biggest thing to go from 6 figures to 7 figures?
Now you're building, helping people build businesses. That's it. So in the beginning, I was learning how to be an insurance agent. Then I went from learning how to be an insurance agent to mentoring other insurance agents. Now what I do is I help people build businesses. And that's the difference. That's what gets you into 7 figures. The answer is just really helping people build businesses. And how do you do that? Right? Sounds easy. So the first thing in the backbone of everything I do when it comes to mentorship is trust. I believe that you always have to be honest. When people ask me how I've been so successful in this industry, I don't give anyone a reason to ever doubt anything I say. And if you don't fully trust the system and fully trust your upline or your mentor, then you're really not in a good spot at all. Right? You can't do anything. If you don't know how to be successful and you don't trust anyone else around you could show you how to be successful, you're in trouble. Yeah. So you have to be somebody that people want to follow. And that doesn't just mean in your insurance agency life, like in your real life too. But at the end of the day, you have to protect your culture and you have to protect what you built. And I think that's really important, because when you're looking at creating a 7-figure income or doing 7 figures a month in production, like these are the things that are going to let you do that and stop it from crumbling all down just as fast as you built it up.
At what stage was your favorite as far as the business side? Obviously, the time freedom is probably the favorite stage now, but is your favorite part of what you've done, of what it sounded like you had a lot of experience in different stuff coming in the industry, maybe from sales or developing yourself or ever, but now that you have the chance to develop leaders and develop organizations of agencies and what they're doing and empowering them, has that now been more of a favorite than developing your own production and stuff at the beginning?
Yeah, definitely helping other people has definitely been my passion. I just my very first agent that started with me that produced, her name's Jen. And
Jen. Love Jen.
Jen's very, very successful. She's a multi 6-figure earner. Jen reached out to me. I put a post on Facebook. I'm looking for somebody to help me post on social media. I'll pay you $500 a month. She reached out to me and said, David, my family's really hurting with money. An extra $500 a month would really help me. I said, Jen, why don't you get your insurance license and I'll teach you how to sell insurance. I just got started myself. And I thought she was too good for $500 a month. She's never really had a job before. She worked a few network marketing companies, never really made any money. And she ended up making $170,000 her first year with us. Super, super excited. Like her husband loves me, you know what I mean? Like they just really love it. But she's now a multi 6-figure earner. She has a team. She does over $100,000 a month in production. I mean, she's just such a superstar. She really loves people. But I know she would want a Louis Vuitton purse. And I know that she would never buy it for herself. So it was just her birthday. So I sent her a Louis Vuitton purse. And she did her husband videoed her opening it. And like seeing like the joy and like how happy she was that she received that purse. I mean, it was worth every dollar I spent on it and then some. So and then the freedom, right? It's one thing to create the income, but once you really figure out what you're doing and you know what you're doing, you get your time back, and you could go on these vacations and you could do these things or be there for your family or do things for your children that you couldn't do. And experiencing all that's been the biggest blessing than anything that I've ever done for myself or any commission I ever received or any car that I've purchased. So that's definitely been the number one motivator on what I do. And just finding the next success story. Like I'm just always, anytime I'm interviewing someone or talking to someone, I got them on the phone and they're telling me about themselves. I'm just like crossing my fingers, like, I hope you're my next success story. Like I want you to be my next success story. And when I see somebody really grab hold and really be coachable and willing to put in the activity, I'm like, this is the one. Like I can't wait. This is the one. And I can't wait for the next 12 months to play out and watch the person transform. And because if you do this right, and you're coachable, you should become a completely different person over the next 12 months.
What goes into building a high producing team? Maybe some of the insights behind that team development, maybe those that have gotten to 5 figures a month, now they're like, I would like to start developing others, helping show them how to do those same things. What goes into building?
The thing that I think for me and my success, on top of all the stuff we talked about, is just having a really simple system. I know there's some people in the comments asking about what I sell and stuff like that. I sell final expense life insurance, and I sell final expense because it's so simple, it's so fast, it's a low premium, average $60 a month premium. That's industry standard. Ours is actually about 65, so a little bit higher than the average. That's something. So if you want to build a big sales team, and again, when I first started, that was my question. Like, do you have leads? Yes. Do you have? What if I build a huge sales organization? Are you gonna have enough leads for all them? Yes. Oh, and our virtual call center, that's been game changer. That we launched that. That's been a game changer. So everybody's online. So you get to rub shoulders with people that literally issued over $50,000 a month in final expense on the phone and just watch them. Like, you want to see how to issue $50,000 a month? Jump on Zoom and watch this person for a whole week. And you're like, okay, that's how they do it. Because they're on Zoom and you listen to them sell and you listen to them go over objections and you listen to all these things. So it's like having a top producer in your house every day, all day, teaching you how to sell, listening to you. You get to listen to them. If you do want to grow a large agency, that you have the systems and processes in place and you have the infrastructure and the mentorship and you have everything that you need to make sure that when you do hire an agent, they have the best chance of being successful.
What goes in? Because I think this is probably one of the key things at all different levels, but especially at your level now, like, how do you keep growing? How do you keep developing? What goes into your mindset right now that is really where, like, just like people have income goals and freedom goals that they want to get to, as far as like a mindset and mental place as a goal to get to, what goes into that and what are you continuously doing even today to keep on developing?
So the biggest thing is just, how do I help more people? How do I touch more people? How do I affect more people in a positive way? How do I help more people get the best out of themselves? I know myself, I had a ceiling plenty of times. I mean, I'm probably still have a ceiling that I don't even know about. So wherever you're at now, like, what are you doing to be better? Like, what are you reading? Who are you talking to? What masterminds are you signing up for? What coaching classes are you signing up for? Like, what are you doing to get to the next level? Like, your goal is what it takes to be successful. After you've done those things you needed to do to be successful, the other free time is your time that you have to work around to do that, right? Eventually the success is there. You don't have to do that. That's not your end game. This isn't like a career where it's like, man, I got to work 20 years to retire and my income's going to go up like 3% a year and my life's going to suck and I might get an extra vacation day a year. This is like, no, I'm going to sacrifice the next 3 to 4 years of my life so I can do anything I want for the rest of my life.
But I'm going to bring up a QR code. If you want to use the QR code, you can as well, of course. And so here's what it looks like. If you like to get a senior life contract, you'd like to work with us, you'd like to put these systems in place for yourself, feel free to use the QR code. feel free to use that link below